Hi guys, Anthony here, Aquascaping on the fly. Welcome to the channel. Full confession, you guys know I'm a flight attendant, or I've mentioned it before on other videos, and I'm a full-time flight attendant. So a lot of times, I'm gone for at least 3 days at a time before I come back. I did something that was a serious rookie mistake, and I have an epic fail to report. When I started the channel, I made a promise that, I was going to showcase you guys what it's like being a beginner into the aquascaping hobby, whether it was success or a fail, and what I've learned along the way. Now, something that I've never heard other content creators that are in the hobby talk about this, that are dealing with terrariums. I think because I wanted the live moss on the studio build is where my problem started, and then I have several moss and plants in growth chambers, and I just had an overwhelming amount of the little gnat flies. And so right before a trip I sprayed this little dude right here and what I glanced at about it was a plant-based product, and I did not think about the consequences of where I was spraying it. I was trying to just get rid of the gnats that were in the entire condo here. And so it's Kong Skull Island took the biggest hit. And I had just published my third video of Skull Island update, well, the second update, but the third video, and my moss was looking amazing still then for it being set out and drying, and it wasn't in its growth chamber. So I got to the point where I had put great stuff behind the hardscape, it was attached, I put the moss mountains in, the substrate went in, and then I was ready to, start doing the plantings. I actually even made a glass front for the fireplace itself. And so it was when I was getting ready to go on a trip, and I saw there were a lot of the gnats inside there, and I thought, oh, I need to kill some of those because I don't want them escaping, and I don't want to be planting in there and just have that as a constant, nightmare. Well, I sprayed the product in there, probably too heavily, and I put the glass back on, thinking I would trap them all in there, they would die, and, I wouldn't have any problems later on. I came back from the trip, my moss has bleached out. I've done so much research about, is a bleached out moss technically dead? It doesn't feel dead. It is still sticking to the moss mountains that we were using in Skull Island, but all the moss that I had put at the top of it, it has all bleached out. There's just a few pieces that are still green, and with a lot of the research I did online, that yes, I pulled this product up that not from the manufacturer's website because it said very little. It did say not to spray on your plants, so that was a blunder. But I pulled it up on just an online forum, and I wanted to know what were the effects if you spray this on, especially your moss. Well, as most people know, moss is a natural pollution cleaner. It cleans our air for us, but if it's sprayed too heavily on it, it can kill it. But all the research I read said it's probably not seriously dead. It probably just shocked it, and all of its color has gone away because it's not able to function in a healthy way. But then not to remove the moss yet because it could still come out of it. So now the problem is, I looked on the manufacturer's website and I wanted to see how long this product can stay in contact with something. Fortunately, the interior of Kong Skull Island is not a solid one, so it doesn't attach itself as long, but it can be attached up for 4 weeks. What I did immediately though is I started spraying down all the moss, and that's the first thing that it did say online is you need to rinse it. If you can take those pieces out, rinse them out completely, and then put them back into your terrarium. Mine are glued in already, and I don't want to rip anything apart. So I think what I'm going to do at this point is I pulled off most of the moss on the mountains themselves that were heavily affected. I'm going to show you a screenshot what it looks like, because to me it's very, very sad. I have growing this moss, some of it since September. That's 4 months for us now. And the ones that's on the driftwood that we're using in the mountains, that's one of the first things I was able to find was some really cool pieces that I put the moss on it and it started growing, but that was in my tubs. So they were under the best optimal growing condition because it was humid and they were getting at least 10 hours of sun, and it just went beautifully. So now it looks absolutely horrible, but I want you to see this so that if you're ever thinking that you're going to spray something anywhere near a plant like this, this is what can happen to you as well. I had to learn it the hard way. So what I also did, and I'm gonna, if I can get a camera shot of one of them, I found some stuff online on Amazon where you can get these little stickers. They're yellow, they're double-sided, and you can put them around the room, and then that should attract most of the gnats to it. I will say though, I did learn a benefit from, normally I spray my moss down in the tubs like once every 2 weeks. I just did it today, all the tubs that I have in the bedroom. I think I've mentioned before that I put grow lights under my frame of my bed, and therefore I've got all these tubs that can fit under the bed, and the light is on a timer. So it's really space saving for me, especially in a small place like this. But legit, I would take the tub, kind of shake it to get the gnats to, wake up if they were into the moss itself. See the ones where they were. I had my vacuum cleaner going with a hose attachment, and I would just slide the vacuum cleaner hose in there and just vacuum the suckers out. That's the easiest way I found to deal with it. And then I put a sticker on the inside lid of each one of my growth chambers. So I've gone back and looked again, and maybe I'll see 2 or 3 compared to before there was a lot more. Now, for the structure on the wall that's over here in the studio, I've placed a lot of the stickers on top of the limbs themselves, hopefully to catch the ones that are coming out at different times of day and night. And I will put some in Skull Island once I get it clean. So now I'm thinking I'm gonna probably have to clean the tops of the bark, and I'm also going to try to scoop up the top layer of soil and then make another batch of soil and put more soil in there so that that top layer of soil where the insecticide could have reached, at least I'll pull that out because I don't want to plant anything in there. One of the websites I checked said if you want to test the insecticide to see if it's still potent, you could try putting one plant in there over a 24-hour period and watch what happens to it. If the plant is not affected at all, then you should be fine, and it's just your moss needs to recover. But, so full disclosure, epic fail. Epic. So this, epic fail. No lie. Let me turn the camera around so you can see what I'm talking about and be as in shock as I was when I came home from my trip. Okay, there you have, you can clearly see, and let me see if I can point out. Up in here, everything that was along the top up here, all of this at the top all came completely bleached out. Okay, you can see there's one of those little gnats right now. I hope you can see that on camera. This section, this mountain, this mountain. This one wasn't affected as much, so I did do what online said. If there's a section that you can just pull it out. If there's green around it, it will grow back into it. I did not toss any of it away. I've put it down here on top of the soil, and I want to see if it can recover. But if it doesn't, it's not, it feels tragic to me because I grew this. And I found these pieces, attached the moss to it, spent the 4 months babying it and doing everything I thought I should do to it, and then had a blunder when I put an insecticide in there. I don't know what I was thinking. I wasn't thinking. So now we're going to try and just backtrack and see if there's a way that I can get this to, jump back. I have just turned the light on, so now you can see all the gnats that are in there normally, and which is nothing compared to what was in there. This is a lot less. But if I wasn't on video right now, I'd have my vacuum cleaner out right now, and I'd be vacuuming up those that are flying around right now. That's how annoying they are. So that's the plan for now. I've let it air out for more than 24 hours. I think I'm going to keep airing it out. And when I say air out, I mean I have removed the glass door, and I'm putting a fan in front of it, except at night because I use the fan in another room. But I leave the ceiling fan on to keep as much air flowing to get it to dry out as much as possible. They said that was one of the best things for it because in a humid environment it can just be enhanced. So I'm trying to do everything the website said to mitigate the damage and let it cause no more further damage. But you can see there's like some tinges here and here and here and here, and then a little here, a little green in there. So I'm hopeful that with just time this will bounce back. And if it's going to be something that's just going to like ruin the look of it, I can pull it off and put it back in a growing chamber and see if I can get it to, to green back up again. And I do have some left over that I did not use that we could replace it with. And I did learn something from one of the tubs I have where the moss is growing a lot longer than normally it should. And when I searched that up, it said one of the problems was when you have too much sunlight, that the moss tends to get stringy and not have its compact nature. So I think that's why this up here died so easy. This stuff up here was, this stuff at the top level died first. Then these started getting affected at the bottom, and these are the normal type. But I'll tell you what I did do. It's not quite as normal because I took my vacuum cleaner hose and I vacuumed each one of them to pull out anything that I thought, okay, was it really dead or not? And everything stuck to it except the one here that I manually pulled off because it just looked bad. So there you have it. Kong's epic failure, because I promised to document the good and the bad. And this is one of the bads. This is where I messed up, but I'm going forward, and we've learned a valuable lesson. And I hope this stops anyone else from having something serious like this happen to one of their builds. So until later, you guys keep watching and maybe come catch me in the fly sometimes. Bye-bye.